Do you ever look at successful people and wonder how they got there? What if I told you that the difference between where you are right now and where you want to be isn't about luck, connections, or even hard work? It's all about how you think. The truth is, to get rich, you have to stop thinking like a poor person. Sounds harsh, right? But it's the truth. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions create the life you live. If you keep thinking small, you'll keep living small. But when you change your mindset and start thinking like someone who's already successful, everything starts to shift. In this video, we're going to explore what it really takes to change your mindset and set yourself up for long-term financial success. I'm going to show you the common mistakes that hold people back, the way rich people think differently, and the steps you can take right now to start seeing the world with new eyes. If you're ready to unlock the mindset that can help you build real wealth and live the life you've always dreamed of, stick around. I promise you this could change everything. Let's get started. Number 1, mindset and wealth. Your mind is the starting point of everything. It's the engine that drives your actions, shapes your decisions, and ultimately determines the kind of life you'll lead. And when it comes to wealth, real, lasting wealth that doesn't begin in your bank account, it begins in your head. Now, I'm not just talking about thinking positively or wishing for more money. That's surface-level stuff. What I'm talking about is transforming the way you think about wealth. At its core, it's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. And trust me, this change is not just nice to have, it's essential. When I was younger, I didn't grow up around wealth. Like so many others, I was stuck in survival mode thinking about how to get by, not how to thrive. My thoughts were consumed by limits. There's not enough money, not enough time, not enough opportunity. And you know what happens when that's all you focus on? You see more and more of what you don't have. It's a vicious cycle. But let me tell you something I learned. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt and fear, that's exactly what you'll harvest. But if you start planting seeds of possibility, growth, and abundance, everything changes. Take a moment right now and ask yourself, what do I believe about wealth? Not what someone else told you, not what society says, but deep down, what do you believe? If you're honest, you might find beliefs like money is hard to come by, or rich people are greedy, or I'll never be wealthy because I didn't come from money. These beliefs may seem harmless, but they're holding you back. They're like invisible walls, keeping you from the life you deserve. Here's the truth that changed my life. Wealth isn't reserved for a select few. It's not about luck or privilege or even how smart you are. It's about how you think and the choices you make every single day. Let's talk about one of the biggest differences between people who build wealth and those who don't. Ownership. Wealthy people take full responsibility for their lives. They don't blame the government, the economy, or their upbringing for where they are. They say if it's to be, it's up. To me, that's a mindset shift. You see, when you blame others, you give away your power. But when you take responsibility, you reclaim it. Suddenly you're in the driver's seat, and that's a powerful place to be. I remember meeting a man who told me he'd never be successful because his parents never taught him about money. And while that might be true, I asked him this: what's stopping you from learning now? Silence. He realized in that moment that he was holding on to an excuse. Look, I'm not saying it's easy. Life throws challenges at all of us. But here's the key. Wealthy people see challenges as opportunities. If they don't know something, they learn. If they fail, they adapt and try again. They focus on solutions, not problems. Another crucial shift is understanding the value of your time. Poor thinking says, I'm trading my hours for dollars. Wealthy thinking says, how can I create value that multiplies my time? This might mean starting a business, investing, or developing skills that allow you to earn more in less time. You'll never see the world the same way again. Number 3, inflation and the hidden cost of printing money. Do you ever feel like your money doesn't go as far as it used to? You walk into the grocery store and the prices seem higher than the last time you were there. The same paycheck that used to cover all your bills now feels like it's barely enough. The feeling isn't just in your head, it's real, and it's called inflation. But here's the thing. Most people never stop to think about what inflation really is, or how it quietly chips away at their wealth every single day. If you want to get ahead, you have to understand it and learn how to protect yourself from its impact. Inflation is often referred to as the hidden tax, and that's exactly what it is. You don't see it on your paycheck, but it's there, eating away at your purchasing power bit by bit. It happens when the cost of goods and services rises over time, making the same dollar worth less than it was yesterday. $1 today won't buy you as much next year. And that's why understanding inflation is so critical to building and preserving wealth. Now let's talk about why inflation happens. At its core, inflation is often tied to the supply of money. When governments print more money to cover expenses, pay off debts, or stimulate the economy, they're essentially flooding the market with cash. But when there's more money chasing the same amount of goods and services, prices go up. It's basic economics. Too much money and not enough value. Backing the scary part, this is happening more often than we realize. Governments around the world have been printing money at unprecedented rates, especially during times of crisis. On the surface, it seems like a solution. It helps in the short term, keeps the economy moving, and avoids immediate financial collapse. But long term, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm. The hidden cost of printing money is inflation, and we all end up paying for it. Here's where this affects you personally. Think about your savings. If you've got money sitting in a standard savings account, earning a tiny interest rate, it's actually losing value every year because of inflation. Let's say inflation is running at 3% annually and your savings account is earning 0.5%. That means your money is effectively losing 2.5% of its purchasing power every year. Over time, that adds up. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water when there's a hole in the bottom. So what can you do about it? The first step is awareness. Most people don't even realize how inflation works or how it's affecting their daily lives. Once you understand it, you can start making smarter decisions with your money. For example, instead of letting your savings sit idle, you can put it to work in ways that outpace inflation. One of the best ways to combat inflation is through investing, whether it's in the stock market, real estate, or other assets. The goal is to grow your wealth faster than inflation can erode it. Stocks, for instance, historically have outperformed inflation over the long term. Real estate is another powerful tool because property values and rental income tend to rise with inflation. These aren't just investments, they're shields against the hidden tax of inflation. Another important step is to focus on increasing your income. Inflation doesn't just affect your savings, it affects your paycheck too. If your income isn't growing, you're falling behind. This is why developing new skills, pursuing opportunities for advancement, or even starting a side hustle is so important. The more you can increase your earning potential, the better equipped you'll be to stay ahead of rising costs. It's also essential to rethink your spending habits. When inflation hits, every dollar counts. Look for ways to be more intentional with your money. This doesn't mean living in scarcity or depriving yourself, but it does mean spending wisely. Invest in things that hold their value or contribute to your growth. Avoid wasting money on things that depreciate quickly or don't provide long-term value. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is this. You can't control inflation, but you can control how you respond to it. You can choose to ignore it and let it eat away at your wealth, or you can choose to act, educate yourself, invest in assets that grow. Increase your income and be intentional with your spending. These actions will not only protect you from inflation, but also set you on a path to financial independence. Finally, let me leave you with this thought. Inflation isn't just about numbers or economic policies. It's about your life. It's about your ability to provide for your family, pursue your dreams, and live the life you want. Understanding inflation and taking steps to protect yourself isn't just a financial decision, it's a personal one. So take control. Don't let inflation quietly rob you of your potential. Learn, grow, and act, because the truth is you have more power than you think. The question is, will you use it? Number 4, learn to invest in yourself first. Let me tell you something that could completely shift the way you think about success. You are your greatest investment, not the stock market, not real estate, not even the latest startup opportunity. It's in your mind, your skills, your energy. Too often people put all their focus on external things, hoping for a lucky break or a windfall. But the truth is, the most reliable and powerful way to build wealth, success, and a fulfilling life is to invest in yourself first. Think about it. Everything you do starts with you. Your mindset shapes your decisions. Your skills determine the value you can offer. Your health, your habits, your drive there, the foundation for everything you build. If that foundation isn't solid, even the best opportunities can crumble. On the flip side, when you continuously invest in yourself, you expand your potential to create, grow, and achieve beyond anything you might imagine. Let's talk about mindset for a moment, because it's where everything begins. The way you think about yourself and the world around you will either limit you or propel you forward. If you see challenges as roadblocks, you'll stop every time you face difficulty. But if you see challenges as opportunities to grow and learn, you'll find a way to overcome them. That's why it's so important to work on your mindset every day. Read books that inspire you. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. And constantly remind yourself that you're capable of more than you've achieved so far. Next, let's talk about skills. In today's world, the fastest way to increase your value is to develop skills that others find valuable. Maybe it's mastering a new technology, learning how to communicate effectively, or becoming an expert in your field. Whatever it is, the key is to never stop learning. The more skilled you are, the more opportunities you'll have. And here's the thing. Skills don't just make you better at your job. They give you confidence. When you know you're capable, you carry yourself differently. People notice opportunities come your way. But let's not overlook something that's just as important, your health. Investing in yourself isn't just about your mind and your skills. It's about your body too. If you're running on empty, pushing yourself to exhaustion, or neglecting your health, it's going to catch up with you. Energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. Take care of it. Exercise regularly. Eat nourishing food and make time to rest and recharge, because when you're healthy, you think more clearly, you feel more motivated, and you can give your best to everything you do. Now let's talk about time. Time is the one thing you can't get back, so how you use it matters. Investing in yourself means being intentional about where your time goes. Are you spending hours scrolling on your phone, or are you using that time to learn, grow, or build something meaningful? Are you investing time in relationships that nourish you, or are you stuck in toxic patterns that drain your energy? These are hard questions, but they're necessary. Your time is precious. Use it wisely. Another way to invest in yourself is to seek out mentors and role models. There's so much you can learn from people who've already walked the path you're on. Find someone you admire, someone who's achieved what you want to achieve, and learn from them. Ask questions, study their habits, and let their experiences guide you. It's one of the fastest to accelerate your growth, because you're learning from their successes and their mistakes. Here's something else I want you to consider. Don't be afraid to spend money on yourself. A lot of people hesitate to invest in courses, books, or tools that can help them grow because they see it as an expense. But here's the truth. The right investment in yourself will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Maybe it's a class that teaches you a new skill, a coach who helps you break through barriers, or even a trip that expands your perspective. Whatever it is, don't hold back. You're worth it. And let's not forget about personal growth. Who you are as a person matters just as much as what you do. Take time to reflect on your values, your purpose, and what truly matters to you. Develop habits that align with your goals. Practice gratitude, kindness, and resilience. When you grow as a person, everything else in your life grows too. You attract better opportunities, build stronger relationships, and find deeper fulfillment. The last thing I want to say is this. Investing in yourself isn't a one-time thing. It's a lifelong commitment. There will always be more to learn, more to improve, more ways to grow, and that's the beauty of it. Your work in progress in every step you take adds to your value, your potential, and your legacy. So start today. Make a decision to invest in yourself, whether it's reading a book, learning a new skill, or simply taking care of your health, because when you invest in yourself, you're not just building a better future, you're building a better you. And that, my friends, is the greatest investment you can ever make. Number 5, the wealth-building power of investing in value. Imagine this. Every decision you make today is like planting a seed in the soil. Some seeds will grow into strong, fruitful trees that will nourish you for years to come. Others might sprout for a moment, only to wither away because they weren't planted with intention or care. That's exactly how wealth works. It's not about flashy moves or quick fixes. It's about creating value, real lasting value that grows and builds on itself over time. When it comes to building wealth, the question isn't how do I make money fast? Instead, it's how do I create something that matters? How do I invest in things that grow, endure, and contribute to the world around me? The truth is, wealth isn't just a number in your bank account. It's the impact you make, the skills you bring to the table, and the legacy you leave behind. And all of that starts with understanding the power of investing in value. Value isn't just about what you can take, it's about what you can give. Think about the products or services you use every day. The companies behind them are successful because they provide something people need, something people value. Apple didn't become a household name. By cutting corners, they became iconic. By creating products that are innovative, reliable, and beautifully designed things people genuinely want to use. That's the kind of mindset you need to adopt if you want to build wealth, Focus on providing more value than anyone else. Now let's take a closer look at what this means in your daily life. Every single one of us has talent, skills, and resources that we can use to create value. Maybe you're great at solving problems. Maybe you have a creative spark that can bring ideas to life. Or maybe you have a knack for connecting people and building relationships. Whatever it is, that's your starting point. The key is to recognize what you bring to the table and then find ways to multiply its impact. When you do that, you're not just working for money, you're working to make a difference. And the money, that's a natural byproduct of the value you create. But creating value doesn't stop with your own efforts. One of the smartest things you can do is to invest in other people and ideas that are already creating value. This is where smart investing comes in, whether it's putting your money into a business, a stock, or a property. The principle is the same. Look for things that are built to last. Don't just chase trends or promises of quick returns. Instead, focus on what is real potential to grow over time. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're considering investing in a business. There are two options in front of you. One is a flashy startup promising instant returns, but with no clear plan or track record. The other is a steady, well-run company with a history of creating quality products and strong customer loyalty. Which one do you choose? If you're focused on building lasting wealth, the choice is obvious. You go with a company that's built on value, even if it takes longer to see the returns. Why? Because real wealth is about the long game. It's about building something sustainable, something you can count on for years to come. And let's not forget one of the most valuable investments you can make: your relationships. Think about the people in your life who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth. Those relationships are worth more than gold. When you invest in people, whether it's through mentorship, partnership, or simply being there for someone, you're creating a ripple effect. The value you give to others comes back to you in ways you can't always predict. It might be in the form of opportunities, insights, or simply the deep satisfaction of knowing you've made a difference. But here's the thing: creating value requires patience. It's not about instant gratification or quick wins. It's about planting those seeds and nurturing them over time. Sometimes you won't see results right away. Sometimes it'll feel like you're putting in a lot of effort without much to show for it. But trust me on this, if you stay committed to creating value, the rewards will come. It might take months or even years, but when they do, they'll be worth it. And while we're talking about patience, let me say this: don't underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. You don't have to make giant leaps every day. You just have to keep moving forward. Maybe it's learning one new skill, helping one person, or taking one step toward your goal. Over time, those small actions add up to something extraordinary. That's how value works. It grows, it compounds, and it builds on itself if you give it the time and attention it needs. So where do you start? You start by asking yourself this question: what can I do today that creates value for tomorrow? Maybe it's in your work, your relationships, or even in your own personal growth. Whatever it is, make it a priority, because when you focus on creating value, you're not just building wealth, you're building a life of meaning, purpose, and impact. And that, my friends, is the kind of wealth that lasts. Number 6, spending habits and perceptions. Are you ever stopped to think about how every single dollar you spend is a vote? It's a vote for what you value, what you prioritize, and ultimately what kind of life you're building. Spending money isn't just about transactions or getting what you want in the moment. It's a reflection of your habits, your beliefs, and how you see yourself in the world. If you want to understand your financial future, take a close look at how you're spending your money today, because let me tell you, your spending habits can either build your dreams or quietly rob you of them. Most people don't think twice about how they spend their money. They swipe their cards, click buy now, or hand over cash without considering the bigger picture. But the truth is, every spending decision you make tells a story. Are you spending on things that add value to your life, or are you pouring money into things that lose their meaning the moment you walk out of the store? The difference between the two is what separates the wealthy mindset from the poor mindset. Here's the thing about spending. It's not just about what you're buying, it's about why. When you spend impulsively, you're chasing a momentary feeling, excitement, comfort, or even distraction. But those feelings don't last, do they? That's why so many people find themselves in the same cycle, spending money on things that don't really matter and wondering why they're still stuck. To break out of that cycle, you have to shift your perspective. You have to start seeing money as a tool, not a toy. It's a tool to create opportunities, security, and freedom, not just temporary satisfaction. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is this. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And more importantly, it's what you do with what you keep. You could earn a six-figure salary and still be broke if your spending habits are out of control. On the other hand, someone earning far less can build wealth if they manage their spending wisely. It's not about the numbers, it's about the mindset. Are you spending like someone who's building a future or like someone who's living for the moment? Let's talk about the rich and the poor for a moment. The rich don't think about money the same way most people do. They don't see it as something to burn through. They see it as something to grow, to invest, and to use strategically. That's why they're willing to delay gratification. They don't need the latest gadget or trend if it doesn't serve their long-term goals. Meanwhile, many people spend money they don't have on things they don't need just to impress people who aren't even paying attention. Isn't that a crazy way to live? Here's a challenge for you. The next time you're about to make a purchase, stop and ask yourself, is this adding value to my life? Is this helping me get closer to the future I want? If the answer is no, put it back. Walk away, because every dollar you waste on something meaningless is a dollar you could have used to invest in yourself, your growth, or your goals. That's the kind of discipline that separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jim. Does that mean I can't enjoy anything? Do I have to save every penny and never spend on fun or pleasure? Of course not. Life is meant to be enjoyed, but here's the key. Enjoy it with intention. Spend on things that truly matter to you, things that bring lasting joy or value. Maybe it's a trip that creates memories you'll treasure for a lifetime. Maybe it's a course that helps you develop a new skill. Maybe it's an investment in your health or relationships. Whatever it is, make sure it's worth it. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and you're about to buy a $5 latte. Now, I'm not here to tell you to skip the coffee if it genuinely makes your day better. But what if you're buying it every single day without thinking that's $150 a month? What could you do with that money instead? Maybe it's starting an investment account, paying off debt, or even saving for a goal you've been dreaming about. The point isn't to deprive yourself, it's to spend with purpose. Spending habits aren't just about money, they're about how you see yourself. When you spend recklessly, you're telling yourself, I'm not in control. I don't value my future. But when you spend intentionally, you're saying, I'm worth more than a quick fix. I'm building something bigger. That shift in mindset changes everything. It's empowering, it's freeing, and it sets you on a path toward real lasting wealth. Here's one more thing to think about. The stories we tell ourselves about money shape how we spend it. If you believe money is hard to come by, you might feel the need to spend it quickly before it's gone. If you think money is evil, you might avoid managing it wisely, but if you see money as a tool, as something that can work for you and create opportunities, your habits will start to align with that belief. So take a moment to check your beliefs. Are they helping you or holding you back? At the end of the day, building wealth isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about making choices that reflect your values and priorities. It's about taking control of your money instead of letting it control you. So today, I want to challenge you to take a closer look at your spending. What story is it telling? And more importantly, what story do you want it to tell? Because here's the truth. Wealth isn't about luck or chance. It's about habits, discipline, and choices. And every choice you make, every dollar you spend, is a step toward the future you're creating. So choose wisely, spend intentionally, and watch how those small, deliberate decisions add up to something extraordinary. Number 7, think legacy. Create wealth for generations. What if I told you that your life isn't just about today, but about the generations that will come after you? What if the choices you make now could echo through time, shaping not just your future, but the future charger of your children, your grandchildren, and even people you may never meet? Thinking about legacy isn't just for the rich or famous. It's something every single one of us has the power and the responsibility to create. And when it comes to wealth, building a legacy is one of the greatest contributions you can leave behind. You see, so many people get caught up in the here and now. They live paycheck to paycheck spend without thinking and never stop to ask themselves, what kind of mark am I leaving on the world? But those who truly understand the power of wealth building know this. Wealth isn't just about what you can enjoy today. It's about planting seeds that will grow long after you're gone. It is about creating opportunities for others, lifting them up and ensuring that your impact lives on. Creating generational wealth starts with a shift in mindset. It's about moving away from instant gratification and embracing the idea of delayed rewards. It's about realizing that every dollar you save, invest, or grow isn't just for you. It's for the future you're building, and that future can be so much bigger than you imagine. Think about the legacy you could create. If you decided today to build, not just for yourself, but for the people you care about, for your community, and even for causes that matter to you, one of the first steps in thinking legacy is understanding that wealth isn't just about money. Yes, financial stability is a key part of it, but wealth is also about knowledge, values, and principles. It's about teaching the next generation how to manage, grow, and respect the resources they have. Imagine passing down not just a bank account, but a mindset of abundance, discipline, and responsibility. That's a legacy that can last far longer than money ever could. I've seen families who broke cycles of poverty simply because one person decided to think differently. They started saving, they started investing, they started educating themselves and teaching others. And over time, those small, consistent actions created a ripple effect that transformed not just their lives, but the lives of everyone around them. That's the power of legacy. It doesn't happen overnight, but when you commit to it, the results can be extraordinary. Building wealth for future generations isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about making small, intentional choices every day that add up over time. Maybe it's setting aside a portion of your income for savings or investments. Maybe it's creating a will or a trust to ensure your assets are protected and distributed wisely. Maybe it's sitting down with your family and having honest conversations about money goals in the future. These steps might seem simple, but they can make all the difference. Now, let's talk about vision, because if you're going to build a legacy, you need a clear picture of what you're working toward. What do you want your life to stand for? What impact do you want to have? Who do you want to help, inspire, or support? Answering these questions will give you a sense of purpose that will guide every decision you make. And when you have that kind of clarity, it becomes so much easier to stay focused and motivated even when the road gets tough. One of the most beautiful things about building a legacy is that it's not just about you. It's about creating a chain reaction of positivity, growth, and success. When you build wealth, you create opportunities not just for yourself, but for others. You can fund scholarships, support charities, start businesses, or create programs that empower people. And the amazing thing is, the more you give, the more your legacy grows. That's the kind of wealth that truly matters. I know some of you might be thinking, Jim, this sounds great, but I'm not in a position to think about legacy right now. I'm just trying to get by, and to that I'd say this: everyone starts somewhere. Legacy building isn't about having millions of dollars. It's about starting where you are with what you have and committing to the process. It's about making decisions today that your future self and your future family will thank you for, no matter where you are in life. It's never too late. To start, I want you to imagine for a moment what your legacy could look like. Picture the lives you could touch, the dreams you could inspire, and the opportunities you could create. Think about the pride your family would feel, knowing that you were the one who changed the story. That's what thinking legacy is all about. It is about believing that your life matters, that your choices matter, and that you have the power to make a difference, not just for yourself, but for generations to come. As you go about your day, I want you to keep this thought in mind. You are building something far bigger than you can see right now. Every choice, every action, every decision you make is contributing to your legacy. So choose wisely, dream big, and remember, the wealth you're building isn't just for you. It's for the lives you'll impact, the stories you'll shape, and the future you'll create. That, my friend, is what it means to truly think legacy. Number 8, learn from wealth-minded people. Imagine this for a moment. You're in a room full of people who are actively building their dreams. People who talk about opportunities instead of obstacles, solutions instead of problems, and growth instead of limits. What would that do to your mindset, your energy, and your vision for your own life? The truth is, who you surround yourself with has the power to shape your future. If you want to think bigger, achieve more, and grow into the best version of yourself, you need to spend time with wealth-minded people. It's one of the most important investments you'll ever make. Here's the thing. Our environment has a way of influencing us, often without us even realizing it. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, or small thinking, it can chip away at your ambition and make you second-guess your dreams. But when you're around people who are forward-thinking, goal-driven, and focused on creating value, something incredible happens. Their energy becomes contagious. Their perspectives challenge you. Their success inspires you, and suddenly what once seemed impossible starts to feel within reach. Being around wealth-minded people isn't just about learning how to make money, it's about adopting a mindset of growth, abundance, and responsibility. These are the individuals who don't just talk about making a living. They talk about creating a legacy. They understand that true wealth isn't just financial. It's about time, freedom, relationships, and impact. When you learn from them, you start to see the bigger picture. You begin to ask better questions, set higher goals, and approach challenges with confidence instead of fear. One of the best ways to connect with wealth-minded individuals is by seeking out environments where they naturally gather. This could be networking events, conferences, masterminds, or even online communities. Look for places where people are talking about ideas, strategies, and opportunities, not just complaining about their circumstances. And when you're there, don't be afraid to engage. Ask questions, share your goals, be open to feedback and advice. Wealth-minded people are often generous with their knowledge because they know the value of helping others grow. Another key to learning from wealth-minded people is to become a student of their habits. Pay attention to how they spend their time, how they approach decision-making, and how they handle setbacks. You'll notice that they prioritize learning, whether it's through reading, attending workshops, or surrounding themselves with mentors. They take calculated risks, knowing that growth often requires stepping outside of their comfort zone, and perhaps most importantly, they have a long-term perspective. They're not chasing quick wins. They're building something sustainable. Now, you might be wondering, what if I don't have access to wealth-minded people right now? What if my current circle doesn't align with where I want to go? That's a fair question. And the answer is simple. Start where you are. You don't have to wait for the perfect opportunity to surround yourself with the right influences. There are countless books, podcasts, videos, and courses created by wealth-minded individuals who are eager to share their insights. Make these resources your companions. Immerse yourself in their knowledge and let their wisdom shape your thinking. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned from wealth-minded people is the importance of giving back. Also, true wealth isn't about hoarding resources. It's about creating opportunities for others. When you adopt this mindset, something incredible happens. You begin to attract like-minded individuals who share your values and vision. Together, you can create a ripple effect of positivity and growth that benefits not just you, but everyone around you. It's also important to remember that wealth-minded people aren't perfect. They faced failures, doubts, and challenges just like anyone else. What sets them apart is their resilience and determination to keep moving forward. When you surround yourself with people who are committed to growth, you learn to embrace the journey, flaws and all. You realize that setbacks are temporary, and every failure is a stepping stone to success. As you build relationships with wealth-minded people, don't just focus on what you can gain. So I think about what you can contribute. Offer your skills, insights, and support, show genuine interest in their goals, and celebrate their successes. Relationships built on mutual respect and collaboration are far more valuable than transactional connections. When you approach these relationships with authenticity and generosity, you'll find that the rewards go far beyond financial gains. Over time, you'll notice a transformation, not just in your external circumstances, but in your internal world. Your mindset will expand, your confidence will grow, your goals will become clearer, and your actions will become more intentional. That's the power of surrounding yourself with wealth-minded people. They don't just change the way you think, they change the way you live. So my challenge to you is this. Take a look at the people you're spending the most time with, or they're lifting you up, encouraging your growth, and inspiring you to reach for more, or are they holding you back, keeping you in a place of doubt or complacency? If it's the latter, it's time to make a change. Seek out those who align with your vision and values. Be intentional about building relationships that challenge and inspire you. And most importantly, commit to becoming the kind of person who lifts others up as well. Remember, the journey to wealth, both financial and otherwise, isn't meant to be walked alone. Surround yourself with people who believe in growth, abundance, and possibility. Learn from them, grow with them, and watch as your life begins to transform in ways you never imagined. Because when you're in the right company, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Number 9, leadership and economic policies. Have you ever considered how much influence a single leader can have over an entire economy? It's incredible when you think about it. The policies they set, the decisions they make, and the vision they bring to the table can shape opportunities for millions of people, including you and me. Leadership and economic policies are not just abstract concepts. They're the invisible hands that steer our lives in ways we don't always notice. Understanding this dynamic is not just important, It's essential for anyone who wants to build a future of growth, wealth, and opportunity. When you think about leadership, you might picture someone giving speeches or making bold declarations, but real leadership, the kind that impacts economies, goes far deeper than that. It's about understanding the pulse of the people, balancing innovation with stability, and making decisions that are as practical as they are visionary. Great leaders don't just think about today. They consider the long-term ripple effects of their actions. They ask, how will this decision impact the lives of people 10, 20, even 50 years from now? And that's the kind of thinking we need to adopt in our own lives. Economic policies might sound like a dry topic, but let me tell you, they're anything but boring. They are the rules of the game. We all play. Policies determine how resources are distributed, how opportunities are created, and how challenges are managed. Think about taxes, for instance. The way tax policies are structured can either incentivize innovation and growth or stifle progress. It's the same with trade agreements, labor laws, and investment in infrastructure. Every policy decision is like a drop in a pond, creating waves that reach far beyond the initial splash. Now, here's where it gets personal. Whether you realize it or not, leadership and economic policies directly impact your ability to thrive. They influence the job market, the cost of living, and the accessibility of resources like education and healthcare. They shape the environment in which businesses operate, which in turn affects the opportunities available to you. That's why it's so important to pay attention to what's happening at the leadership level, locally, nationally, and globally. One of the most important qualities of effective leadership is adaptability. The world is constantly changing, and leaders who clinging to outdated methods will eventually find themselves left behind. Take the rise of technology, for example. As leaders who embrace innovation and invest in digital infrastructure, create environments where businesses can flourish, jobs can be created, and economies can grow. On the other hand, those who resist change risk falling behind, leaving their people to face unnecessary struggles. But let's not just talk about what leaders should do. Let's talk about what you can do, because here's the truth. While you might not be in a position to set economic policies yourself, you are far from powerless. First and foremost, educate yourself. Pay attention to the decisions being made by those in leadership. Understand the policies that affect your industry, your community, and your personal finances. Knowledge is power, and when you know what's happening, you can make informed decisions for your future. Next, take action where you can vote for leaders who align with your values and vision for the future. Support initiatives that promote growth, fairness, and opportunity. And if you see a gap in area where leadership or policy is falling short, consider how you might step up to fill it. Maybe it's through entrepreneurship, advocacy, or simply being a voice for change in your own circles. Another key aspect of leadership is accountability. Great leaders don't just set policies and walk away. They monitor the impact of their decisions and make adjustments as needed. This is a lesson we can all apply in our own lives. When you set a goal or make a decision, don't just assume it will work out. Check in regularly. Ask yourself, is this working? Is it leading me closer to my vision? If not, don't be afraid to pivot. Flexibility is a strength, not a weakness. Leadership is also about collaboration. No one builds an economy or a life alone. The best leaders bring people together, fostering an environment where diverse ideas and perspectives can flourish in your own journey. Think about how you can apply this principle. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, support you, and push you to grow. Collaboration isn't just about achieving a goal. It's about creating something bigger and better than what any one person could accomplish alone. As we wrap this up, I want you to take a moment to reflect. Think about the leaders who have shaped your life. Whether directly or indirectly, what qualities did they embody? What lessons did they teach you? Whether through their successes or their failures. And most importantly, how can you take those lessons and apply them to your own leadership journey? Because make no mistake, you are a leader. Whether you're leading a business, a family, or just your own personal growth, your actions and decisions have an impact. And when you approach leadership with thoughtfulness, integrity, and a vision for the future, you become part of the ripple effect that creates lasting change. Leadership and economic policies are not just for politicians and CEOs. They're for anyone who wants to make a difference in their own life and the lives of others. So step up, be informed, be involved. And remember, the decisions you make today are shaping the future, not just for yourself, but for generations to come. That's the power of leadership. That's the power of vision. And that's the power of believing that you have a role to play in the bigger picture. Now, go out there and lead number 10. Commit to a new way of thinking. You know, one of the most powerful realizations you can have in life is this: you're the only one who can change the way you think. That's the truth. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, what your circumstances are, or how many people doubt you. You hold the key to your future, and it all starts with committing to a new way of thinking. If you want to see a transformation in your life, you first have to transform the way you view the world. The most successful people didn't wait for a perfect set of circumstances to come along. They decided to make a change in their mindset first, and everything followed after that. Here's the thing. Most people live their lives in what I call autopilot mode. They wake up, go through the motions, do what they've always done, and expect things to get better. But the truth is, things won't change unless you change. It is not about hoping that someone or something will come along and make your life easier. It's about recognizing that you have the power to make the change yourself. The moment you decide that the way you think needs to be different is the moment that your journey to real success begins. Let me tell you something about the people who build wealth, the people who make a lasting impact, the people who lead fulfilling lives. They all think differently. They don't just accept the world as it is. They ask questions. They challenge the status quo. They look for opportunities in every situation. You can't expect different results by thinking the same way that everyone else is thinking. If you keep thinking the way you've always thought, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. That's why committing to a new way of thinking is the very first step in any journey toward growth and success. You've got to make a conscious decision to change your mindset. And this isn't just a one-time thing. It's not something you can flip a switch on and off. Changing your mindset is a daily practice, a continuous journey of growth. You've got to constantly check in with yourself and ask, is the way I'm thinking helping me move toward my goals? Or is it holding me back? If your thoughts are negative, limiting, or based on fear, they will never get you to where you want to go. If you're thinking I can't, or I don't know how, or it's too late for me, then you're stuck in a mindset that's preventing you from moving forward. The first thing you need to do is take responsibility for your thoughts. Don't blame your circumstances, your past, or the people around you. Your life is shaped by what's going on inside your mind. If you're not happy with your current situation, it's time to start changing the way you think. You have to take full ownership of your mindset because no one else can do that for you. Your thoughts are yours, and they have the power to create your reality. Think about how the world sees success. So often people look at successful individuals and think they were lucky, or that they somehow had an easier path. But let me tell you this, success isn't about luck. It's about mindset. It's about believing that you can do something even when it seems impossible. It's about choosing to focus on solutions rather than problems, on growth, rather than limitations. If you want to be successful, you've got to stop thinking like the average person who's always waiting for things to happen. Instead, start thinking like someone who makes things happen. This new way of thinking requires a mindset of abundance. So many people live with a scarcity mindset, thinking there's not enough to go around, that there's only so much success to be had. But successful people understand that abundance is all around them. There are endless opportunities, endless resources, and endless ways to grow and create wealth. The moment you start believing that there's enough for everyone, including you, is the moment your life will begin to open up. Stop looking at what you don't have and start looking at what you do have. It's all about perspective. But changing your mindset isn't just about thinking more positively. It's about thinking more strategically. Instead of letting life happen to you, start taking control. Start asking yourself, what do I want? How do I get it? What steps can I take today to move closer to my goal? Successful people don't just wait for things to come to them. They take action. They map out their goals, break them down into actionable steps, and then take consistent action every single day. It's not enough to just wish for success. You have to work for it, think about it, and move toward it with intention. Now here's where it gets exciting. Committing to a new way of thinking isn't just about what happens in your head. It's about how it influences your behavior. When your mindset shifts, your actions will follow. If you believe you're capable of achieving great things, you'll start acting in ways that align with that belief. You'll make bold decisions, take calculated risks, and put in the hard work. And the more you act in alignment with your new mindset, the more success you'll attract. The universe responds to your energy, your actions, and your determination. When you show up with confidence and clarity, things start to happen. I know this isn't always easy. Changing the way you think takes time and effort, especially if you've been stuck in negative or limiting patterns for a long time. But I promise you, it's worth it. The rewards are incredible. When you commit to a new way of thinking, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing the entire course of your life. The path becomes clearer, the opportunities become more abundant, the obstacles seem smaller, and most importantly, you start to believe in yourself in ways you never have before. So take this to heart. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you do. If you want to change your life, change your mind. Don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. Don't wait until things are just right. Start now, right where you are, with the thoughts you have in this moment. Commit to thinking differently. Commit to believing in yourself. Commit to creating a future that aligns with the person you are becoming, not the person you were. When you make that commitment, everything else will follow.